Hello, Mechwarriors, and welcome to the Mechbay, where we fix your mech and fix your game. What's going on, Mechwarriors? I'm your host, Josh, and with me is Turkina's chosen son, Steve.
Hello.
And we are the Mechbay Podcast, your number one source for all things casual to competitive tabletop battletech. And today, we are giving the first look at the Mercenaries box set, what's been going on at Gencon, and honestly, whatever else we can think of, because we've got a packed show tonight. So, yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I was like, for a show with really no hard details, there's a lot on the docket. And just like what the pirates said when they dug up that Brian cache, let's get this antique on the road show. All right, for news, let's just start out. Gencon.
Lots of stuff.
Lots of stuff. It was honestly like a black hole for Catalyst. Catalyst had two things going on. Get ready for Gencon and get a Kickstarter out. And they literally split their brains in half and were like, there's nothing left. Everything's going to these two. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of photographs coming out from people that have been attending Gen Con. We've got sneak peeks at some cool things. A couple things that were included as add-ons in the Kickstarter are now available for purchase at the con. And yeah, you just want to dive right into it?
Let's get into probably the thing we will see the soonest, and that is the second Star League Assault Lance. That is the Direwolf Prometheus. That is Victor Steiner Davian's special one, and that is the pre-painted one. So that's the blue boy. If you've seen the pictures,
do all of the new Star League packs come with one of the painted miniatures? Is that the new gimmick?
One mech in those packs will be painted.
Okay. Do you know if that is continuing into the other packs that are also coming out in the near future, or just the Star League packs?
Just the Star League packs, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything like the Force Lance packs, the future ones. So far, this was like experimental. We'll do it for the Star League ones. If they decide people are liking it, then they might do it. But as far as I'm aware, that's currently a Star League Defense Force pack only kind of thing.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we've got that Direwolf. We've got the Argus, which some of us may remember from like Mechwarrior. Not me. That's pre-me.
I don't think I've ever heard of an Argus before.
Yeah. It's a weird early Civil War mech. This is definitely a glow up for it, and you'll probably see more mechs on the table because of it. You have the Emperor, which we've seen art for it for a while, and I'm of two minds. I'm like, I like the primitive Emperor a lot more. I like the more blocky, angular Emperor. Okay. This one is all curves, and that is true to the original art. So I'm like, I can't really complain about that. It's just
not your vibe.
Not my vibe. And that's okay. All right, for the third one, we have a Helios. That is that's a Capellan heavy, essentially. That's the Gauss rifle, 2 SRMs. It's kind of like a thug, really.
Yeah, but it's got those double summoner pods or thunderbolt pods on the top of its head.
Yeah, 2 SRM6s, and they put a lot of space for those SRMs. This one was, I understand why. It's because the second Star League was, Sun Tzu ran that, so of course it's going to be a little bit more Capellan driven focused. Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, there's one Victor Steiner Davian, and there's 3 Capellan, so it's kind of.
You know what, the conspiracy theorists are going to talk about this, right? The second Star League pack is going to provide a bunch of Capellan mechs, which may or may not become relevant in the near future when all the rumors think that Deny is going to take over Terra, kick all the wolves, right? So it's setting that stage for Capellans to be front and center.
See, the Capellan theorist I know, or conspiracy theorists, I'm trying to write to Capellans and conspiracists at the same time.
What's the difference?
Oh, yeah, look at that. But the Capellan conspiracy theorist, there are no Capellan Lance packs coming out. That's the thing. From that brainstorming guide that we saw at KarinskyCon, there was no Capellan Force packs on that. So they were like, oh no, Capellan isn't getting anything this year. And it's like, well, this whole second Star League pack is,
pretty compelling.
75% Capellan. And then we have the 2 McCarran's Armored Cavalry stuff coming later, which are pretty Capellan as well. So
would you say, Josh, that the evidence is pretty compelling?
Oh God,
that was terrible. You can cut that.
I'm calling the Dest agents to come kill me now. Like,
what else we got coming up?
Well, if the pre-painted Prometheus, Direwolf, the Helios, the Argus, and the Emperor weren't enough, we get a 135-K coolant truck.
Oh, well, now I'm sold. I wasn't sure before, but that coolant truck, give it to me.
I mean, it is one of those, like, dumb, stupid things. It's like, yes, everyone wants the stupid little vehicle that looks like the transport from Alien. Like, it's very flat. It has no real rounded edges. It is just truck on wheel full of coolant.
People get excited about silly things. Let them have this, Josh.
I mean, I'm one of them, so it's okay this time.
You get a pass this time, Catalyst.
Yeah. But yeah, that was our first time seeing the second Star League Assault Lance, like, in person, like, models wise, and They look pretty good. So
yeah, I'm really impressed with a lot of the new models that have been coming out. I'd say 90% of them, 95% even, really, I'm impressed with, and I'm more excited than a lot of the previous Ironwind stuff that we've been, not forced to use, but have had to use if we wanted to run those.
Officially, that's the
Correct.
I want to say the street retail date is early September, and that's, of course, pending shipments or everything. So we will hopefully see those soon.
TM. Soon TM.
It's always TM. All right. They had some copies of the Battletech Universe Standard Edition for sale at Gencon. That is I want to say, if you could pack all of the lore of Battletech into, like, a one cover book, that's essentially what you're looking for. This was the one that does not light up and make sounds and all that.
I'm concerned that I know that there's the deluxe edition which does light up and have sounds, but I question the necessity of this. It's a coffee table book, right? I mean,
there's a reason why Denham's not here, and it's because we had to talk mid about this. Not bad, just mid. And he would not take that. Like, it is the ultimate Battletech coffee table book.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
This is the product that you give to the brand new player who has no idea how to get into the lore, like, what is in the lore. Like, this is that first part of a Warhammer rulebook where it's all the lore of the setting in one condensed format.
Which I think is something that Battletech's been missing for a little while. People always say, where do I start with the lore? And people always say, start with the, Decision at Thunder Rift, or start with the Blood of Kerensky if you want to be in the clans or whatever. I mean, they're all fine starting spots, but having something like this, like an omnibus that you can say, like, here is the general history of the Inner Sphere and its happenings, is a great product that I think we've needed for a little while now.
Oh yeah. So they also had Force Manual Davian and Force Manual Karita for sale. They're limited amount of copies. Like, they weren't selling the truck at Gen Con. Like,
right. Now, I had heard, and this may just be general grumblings, but I'd heard that there were some editing issues in the Force Manual Davian. I've heard that they missed a couple of simple typos or mistakes, or copy pasted some language and used it in a couple of spots. So it may be, you hate to see it so early, but they may need to do a quick revision and get another printing out.
Yeah, that one I know is also going out to Kickstarter orders that could place for that. So those are coming. The first, I should say, the first edition is already in for Kickstarter. So I do not know if it if we will have time for a second printing with those revisions before hitting retail, or they might just deliver all the Kickstarter ones and then do a quick editing.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where when you're trying to accomplish the sheer volume of items that the Kickstarter is being handled, you're bound to miss a couple of things. So I can't say that I'm surprised that people have found typos. Obviously it's a little bit disappointing, but this type of thing is bound to happen. And Catalyst has done a really good job so far of making sure that everything has been made right. I'm sure that they'll get around to, publishing another edition with those changes made. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say this isn't their first rodeo, but this is like their first super big faction specific book, which probably has like the most unit specific words in it in a while. Like so much work went into these that I would almost be like, oh, were there problems? Let me point to my Total Warfare Battle Mech Manual Alpha Strike Commanders Edition. What revision are we on for these? Like it's okay to me.
Yeah. And as long as the information isn't incorrect, right? As long as it doesn't say that, Nikolai Malthus was a Davian, commander or something, then it should be okay, right? I mean, simple typos you can correct.
I hear he's related to Victor. Like, I think they're long lost blood relatives.
That is a little bit more palatable than being related to Adam Steiner.
Oof, yeah. It was a family affair, man. That's all it was.
So I know I've seen pictures of dropships also at Gen Con.
Yeah, the plastic dropships that were, quote, also coming in the Battletech Kickstarter. They had those for sale, the Overlord and the other one. I say the other one like I knew which one it was.
The Union?
Union, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, the Overlord and Union were available in plastic. They had like the whole wall of just dropships.
Right. And I know a lot of people had expressed some concern saying, hey, aren't you releasing Kickstarter exclusive stuff prior to the Kickstarter going out? And I don't know if it's an official response, but I know what I had been led to understand is that with the Kickstarter, you could add on the dropship, and that wasn't an exclusive for the Kickstarter. You could just order one ahead of time and get it that way. So, the dropships are available at Gen Con. If you know someone going, you can get one. If you have one coming in the Kickstarter, you'll get yours soon, TM. So I don't think there's much reason to be upset about that.
Yeah. You touched on it with like, these aren't Kickstarter exclusive. These were Kickstarter add-on, like the Force manuals, all the dropships, they were just add-ons. Like they were coming out sometime around the Kickstarter, and it's just happened that the Kickstarter was delayed by just a couple months, not like, and so they're falling roughly in the same time. Like,
yeah. And I don't even know if I'd say months. I'd probably say weeks. Their original target date was June, and things started going out at the end of June. So maybe a couple weeks delayed, but I wouldn't say months. Yeah. I mean, I still don't have my stuff, and I'm trying not to be salty, but
All right, Steve, when's months become a months to you?
No comment.
No comment. All right, let's move on to the next one.
We're struggling every day, Josh. We're struggling.
Oh, but you know what I am sad that I couldn't get? Because we weren't there at Gen Con this year.
Premium, dude! Premium!
And that's the premium miniatures. And I say that, like gritting my teeth a little bit.
Josh, we've talked about this.
Denim's not here. You got to give the spiel.
Premium in quotation marks. We've had so many issues with premium models. I'll say the Denims line, I find it hard to justify paying that kind of money for a single model just for the posability aspect, right? The Vulture that they did was identical to the Vulture we have in plastic. The only reason you would pick that up is for posability. The Nova Cat, I don't know what variant it is. The Battlemaster, I don't know what variant it is. I haven't really looked into it. I'm not terribly excited. I like posing miniatures. I really do. But the last premium miniature that I purchased was the Rifle Boy when we were at Adepticon. And that was over a year ago. And I still have that in the package because then they found out it was the Rifle Boy and not the Rifle Man. And I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that someday someone will pay me an awful lot of money for a shrunken rifleman.
I mean, I converted mine to a primitive one. I'm just like, that's fine. Like, I've got 3 Riflemans now. I've got one from the original pack. I've got one from the beginner box. No, not beginner box. It is the
Essentials box.
Yeah. That one came with Yin Lo Wang. That is Legend Killer. Thank you. My brain's slowly catching up with all the Rifleman origin stories of Rifleman, and then Rifle Boy.
Why do you have so many Riflemen? They're not that good.
They're not that good, but they just keep including them in things.
just wait until we get to the games played. I brought a rifleman.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, we've got the Nova Cat and the Battlemaster. Do you know which variants they are? I don't happen to have those at the tip of my tongue.
The Nova Cat is the Prime, and the Battlemaster is the same standard Intro Tech one. Now, what I did see, though, is that there is multiple posability for both, as well as what it looked like. Cannot confirm, because I haven't seen any of these assembled or anything yet. You could swap Nova Cat weapon arms. So there is some switchability, but it looks like both kits. Not a whole lot. Like, I'm not talking like completely different like torso or anything, but I saw like 2 pairs of the same looking laser pods on the Nova Cat. And then the Battlemaster had a lot of pieces in that kit.
Okay. Well,
like that box was packed. So I'm like, worst case, you're getting multiple legs or arms or something. So
yeah. Well, look, I think they did that with the Eris. You got 2 sets of legs, and you could kind of pick what kind of leg pose you wanted, and that's fine. There are people that are into that, and that's great. And I hope they enjoy it. I really do. Honestly, other than the one snafu with the hammerhead, I don't think that any of the products have been bad. Like, the products themselves haven't been bad. I mean, the rifleman was out of scale. That's its own issue. But, I think the hammerhead was the only one that had like production issues, like actual like quality concerns. Am I forgetting one? You're laughing.
I mean, my brain is like trying to roll through like, were any of them great? And the answer is maybe Wolfhound 2C. Like, that was the only perfect one.
That's what I didn't get.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got the Ill Clan Recognition Guide Volume 2. So that is the second wave of the Ill Clan Rec Guides, but only the like TRO sections, not the record sheet sections. So this is like for the lore and TRO people. I know Dustin really loves this. So
great. I'm more of a record sheet guy because that's the part that I find useful to play the game. But the lore is fun too. I like it, so I'm glad that's coming. Anything in particular we're looking forward to in this rec guide? Has anyone teased anything about certain things we should expect to see?
No. So this is the ones we've already gotten. Like, this is the one with all the vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah. So we already have all the information here. It's just in, what is it, like 12 or 15 mini TROs with record sheets. So they cut all the record sheets out and reformatted it.
Okay. All right. Well, along with that, I've heard rumors that we're getting another BFM, but this time the lunar is what I've been told.
The moon. Yep, that is table-sized, double-sided hex battle map. That is 48 by 72 inches.
That's enormous.
And that is the combined maps from Map Pack City on one side and the lunar landscape on the other side.
Okay, that's cool. People who want more urban stuff can absolutely grab that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to play with all the vacuum rules that ruin everyone's day, you can play on the lunar side.
Yeah. That's how it be. All right, what else? We've got the return. They teased this before, but this was in person. The return of the BattleTech technical blueprint posters.
Oh, I've seen those. Those are awesome. I would love to get a set for my walls, but my wife would kill me. So,
I mean, just say they're engineering diagrams. Like,
my wife is too clever for that.
Clever girl.
Engineering diagrams for what, Steve? Not robots.
For the office?
Oh, yeah, that'll go over well with my clients. Those are cool. They've got the Hellbringer. I've seen the Hellbringer. I've seen the Timberwolf. What else is in there?
Ooh, that's a good question. These aren't for me, so I haven't been watching them.
It's all right.
All right, what next? We've got one last thing. They had some Gencon exclusive dice trays and dice. Now, there were some grumblings about this, and the thought was they didn't know they would be able to get them. Like, they didn't know they had the marketing budget until they asked and did the numbers. So some people would be like, well, why couldn't I get this? And it's like, well, they didn't even know they could get it. So
it's a surprise to everyone.
Exactly. Yes. They had some 40th anniversary BattleTech dice trays and then some special, like, with the Atlas head dice. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you know what they were going for or what they were asking for those?
Not a clue.
Do you know if there are any left?
Not a clue.
This is horrible.
Not a clue.
What else we got coming out of Gen Con?
Oh, man. Well, we did have the Davian Lance packs, the preview. So these, when you put the little models of things coming soon, the sort of display cases for all the nerds to walk by and see.
Got to put them behind the BR glass so no one breaks it and steals them.
Yeah, I might have.
What do we got? Okay. First off, how many Lance? You said Davian Lance packs, plural. I assume we're getting 2?
Plural. Yes, 2. It's supposed to be like roughly 2 per faction.
So let's see. First Lance pack looks to have the Enforcer, the Legionnaire, the Gunsmith, and the Hellspawn. I kind of like the Hellspawn. It's got this wonky little rocket pod on its shoulder that looks like it was tacked on there with super glue. Like it doesn't look like it belongs there at all.
It definitely does not look like it belongs there. I mean, it is chunky, like the good kind of chunky, but it definitely shows its age of like when it came out and where it came out for, like the video games. So
sure,
it doesn't have a lot of the like extra bits and bobbles that some hand-drawn mechs do, or like modern mechs. Like it's in that low. We didn't have a lot of detail budget, so it's a lot of rectangles.
Yeah, low poly count.
Low poly count. There.
We got the Gunsmith also in that pack.
It's like a little guy. Like it is a cool little guy, but it's definitely like the most modern looking of the bunch. Like it's got that Eldar looking curved alien head.
The dome
head. And it feels like a Hatchetman to me. It feels like a Davian Hatchetman, which kind of makes sense, but yeah.
Except less guns.
Yeah.
Less hatchets, more guns.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. But no, this looks great. Like I did not expect we would get a gunsmith. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, it's a nice little surprise. We've also got the Legionnaire coming.
As a big Isle of the Blessed fan, I've thought about getting a Legionnaire just for like mini diorama, like that versus a Legacy or something.
Okay.
And I've looked at the Ironwind Metal model of the Legionnaire, and I was like, not worth money. Not worth money. This may be worth money.
I mean, you're getting a Hellspawn and a Gunsmith with it, so
yeah,
now it's worth it.
It's just it. They were true to the lore and they were true to the original art. There's just no way you can make hunched over mech built around a Rack 5 or Rack 2. Like that is all it is. But they definitely did a great job putting like the details and the panel lines on it, so it looks like a good, cool mech with a weird hunchback gun.
Nice. Well, Rack 5s are pretty handy when they don't jam.
When they don't jam.
And then looks like last but not least, we do have the Enforcer in that pack.
Yeah, this is the odd man out. Like, there's only like, 3 or 4 variants of the Enforcer. I don't even think 4. I think like 2 and then a custom variant before you
get play clans. I don't know.
Yeah, and then you get into the Enforcer 3. So it's like they kind of skipped the first Enforcer and just went straight to the 3. So like it looks great. It's just which Enforcer is it? Like, are we getting new Enforcer variants? Because we got one. We kind of need more, in my opinion.
All right. So that's the first Lance pack.
Mm-hmm.
Second Lance pack has other fun, exciting things. It's actually got a special mech that I'm very excited about. It's got the Thunderbolt NAIS. It's got the Thanatos, the Falconer, and the Templar. Now, I'll tell you, I'm most excited for the Thanatos in this pack. All the variants have that C3 slave that I never use, but it's just a fun mech to put on the field. It's big, it's chunky, and the Chaos Regulars use one in one of the last books that they have. So I'm excited to get my hands on that.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I would not have guessed the Thunderbolt NAIS, New Avalon Institute of Science, would come out, but like that looks exactly how, in my opinion, like I don't want to say primitive, but like the prototype mechs should look like. Like it looks blocky, it looks bulky. It doesn't have any of the rounded,
no finished edges.
No finished edges. It is purely engineering and design. For those that don't know, that is the TDR-9 NAIS. That is 3067, so it's era / time frame appropriate. Indo Steel, XL. Of course, it's got a rack 5, 3 ER mediums, and a streak 6. And you got a targeting computer and a ECM.
Wow. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, 1864 BV. Like, it pays for it, but like,
yeah.
that's not a bad outfit.
No, not bad at all.
Yeah. Thanatos, it's going to be, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll get a new variant. Like the ones we have.
That.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would love that.
And I think I definitely would put the Falconer as the best glow up of these two Davian Force packs. Because
yeah, no, I agree with you on that glow up. It looks way better than the original line art. The original line art looks like it's squatting with its little tiny arms in the front. But no, it looks decent.
Yeah, for my historical games, I had played the Victor Steiner Davian versus Lincoln Osis game, and you have, I forget who, not Capellan, the Mastery of Canopus person fighting with him, and they run in a Falconer, and I was like, I kind of want to get a Falconer. I was like, look at the model, and it's like, oh, we'll wait, but I mean,
now you can.
Now you can. I mean, they leaked the art in was it the Activity Book 3, and it looks real good in there. It's going to look real good on the table.
Nice.
And then we have our first. I guess this will be our first plastic Omni-Mech.
Oh, the Templar?
First Intersphere Omni-Mech. Let me correct.
Yeah, I was about to say, Josh, can I introduce you to this thing called the Clans?
But yeah, I mean, it's got the awesome assault mech pose, like literally the awesome PPC awesome. Like it's got roughly that same thing. So
yeah,
I'm digging it though. I'm digging it.
Yeah, it's something about those big assault looking mechs. There's just, I mean, they're big, they're clunky. There's only so many poses you can really put them in.
Exactly.
Right? He's just standing there menacingly.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, Davian Lance packs. Those look dope. And then, of course, we saw more.
Yeah, I know we've got the third Star League Defense Force pack coming out as well. This contains a few mechs that we have seen before and others that we've all been waiting on. So this has the Hammerhead, the Havoc, the Kentaro, the Jackalope, and the Lament. We're getting a plastic Hammerhead that shouldn't have horrible mold lines. That's exciting.
I mean,
he said optimistically.
Yeah, let's not put the baby in front of the bathwater.
But no, it's a good looking pose. You know, I mean, it's a Hammerhead. I know a lot of people like it, and the fact that we're getting one in plastic is, I think, pretty swell.
Yeah,
we've got the Havoc as well. That's got that weird rounded head. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dark Age. Like that is Dark Age brain power right there. It looks like the pose, and it looks like they took the metal and made it plastic. So there's not much, like, they didn't change much, which is okay. Like, it was always good art, in my opinion, and they just made it into plastic now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people will agree with me when I say people have been waiting a long time for a plastic Kentaro. I know a lot of people are pretty excited about that.
I don't know, man. I've been waiting. I've been waiting a long while for my Kentaro.
Well, it's finally here soon, TM.
I don't know, man. The price. This is the Thanos meme. It's like, did you
what
do
did it cost?
Yeah, what did it cost? And it's like, this Kentaro's got no drip. Like, no swag, no drip.
I will say, I think they missed the mark a little bit. The original art for the Kentaro, it has that swagger, like it's just walking down the street.
Yeah.
The pose is a little bit static. I expected more, you know.
I almost want to say my metal one has like more movement posability than the two arms up. Like Like this is the metal model, both arms at the shoulders, kind of like facing forward. Like
Yep.
He's got two brewskis. And he's getting ready to hand him over to someone. Like I love it. I can see the shoulders have like that same Kentaro-ness, but this was not instantly recognizable as Kentaro to me.
There's something distinct about the line art pose that goes, oh yeah, that's a Kentaro, right?
It's that swiggity swooty, I'm coming for your narc booty. I'm gonna be honest, it was gonna be a tough bill to fill.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, I would not have bought I would not have bought a metal Kentaro. It's just not something I normally run, but now that one's in plastic, I'm sure I'll end up with it, and then I'll probably run it. So this is a huge benefit for someone like me.
Yeah. If you don't have a Kentaro, and this is what you got, then it's great. I will say this looks better than the Kentaro from like HBS BattleTech or Mechwarriors Online. So we're moving upward. It's just Kentaros always fall short of that original TR-27. You can't beat it.
You can't beat it. It's so good.
He literally broke the mold, and everyone else is just trying to come close.
I have to say, I am pretty excited about the Jackalope. It's a neat little neck. And why do you laugh?
No, because it's true. It's like, I mean, it's just the Jackalope. Like, it's just a little guy.
And then we got that Lament as well, and that's another big boy.
That is a big boy. That's got the two, depending on which variant, you got the heavy PPC, the ER PPC. Like it is. I've ran them in Classic. I've ran them at Alpha Strike. I've won tournaments with them. They're a good mech. They're good mechs.
They're all good mechs.
Now, I don't know if you had seen, but they had a 3D printed Lament using the official 3D art that they brought to the convention. Like one of the fans who regularly does the large scale prints of the mechs, that you might have seen them. They have a big scale Hatamoto Chi. They're using the official sculpts. They are Camo Specs or CDT.
Okay.
So they have the ability to print large scale mechs using the official files for official purposes, demos, art, posters, that kind of thing. So they had a same scale printed Lament there, painted.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I had seen pictures of some of the larger prints, but I didn't look terribly closely when I had seen them. But that's cool. I didn't realize that they painted up a Lament.
Yeah. They also had the Savage Wolf Mad Cat Mark IV. So not only do we have it coming, but we've seen it in person, bigified.
All right. I know a lot of people be excited for that.
Yeah.
They're okay in my mind.
They're okay. That's okay.
Something about the arms, man. It doesn't look right.
The Lament or the Savage Wolf?
The Savage Wolf.
Yeah, no. There was no getting around that one. The Lament is just a, quote, Dark Age Warhammer, when we didn't have the Warhammer license, and we were trying to make the new Warhammer.
It's the Warhammer we have at home.
Mm-hmm. You joke, but that really is it. All right, that's enough Davian Force packs and some SLDF packs. Eventually / soon TM.
I mean, it's nice to know what's coming up on the horizon, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
The fact that we've got these in plastic at Gencon means that they've got to be, genuinely soon, I would think, right? I'm thinking once they get the Kickstarter wrapped up and all those issues sorted out with shipping, that maybe we'll see, those hitting stores.
Yeah. All right, let's do some release updates because we have those. We've got a Skulk of Foxes coming out on August 23rd. That is Jason Hansa's third entry into the Fortunes of War series.
Now, if you kickstarted and you bought whatever tier that was, you should already have access to a Skulk of Foxes, the Kindle version or the EPUB or whatever. But if you haven't done that, or you didn't get that tier or whatnot, you should be able to expect those coming soon, so you can get your hands on those, which is pretty exciting. I figured you'd be excited, Josh. It's a Seafox story.
I know. No, I'm waiting for them all to come out. Then I'm gonna just read them all at once.
What?
I'm not even gonna come up for air.
You're gonna read them in order?
I'm gonna try.
Why would you
No
do
promises.
such a thing?
Because I don't have life.
Just consume media, Josh.
Just consume.
We've also got the Legendary Battles battle match are scheduled for 2025.
Yeah.
We're thinking what, midway through the year looks like?
We're hoping. I know we've talked about that. Those are the Misery and Thunder Rift and Twycross mats.
That's going to be pretty cool, I think. I mean, I presume those maps are going to be a mess to play on, right?
I mean, they're definitely not meant to like play a game of peace tech.
Well, no,
people died here, Steve. People died here.
No, what I mean by that is, the different map packs. Let me back that up. Different map packs have different difficulties, I've found, right? You've got Grasslands A. That's a nice rolling hill for a sunny afternoon conflict.
That's some nice grass.
Right. Meanwhile, you get to the Battle of Two Kid map packs, and there are hills and rivers and all sorts of horrible stuff that's going to mess up your walking distances. I mean, they're just difficult to play on, and they pose all sorts of new challenges. I have to presume that with Misery and Twycross and all these other maps, I have to presume they're going to be similar to the Battle of Two Kid style. Lots of rough terrain, lots of elevation changes, just a mess,
I'm expecting Misery to just be an entire thing of deep snow. It's just PSRs the whole way. And then there's going to be a little section called geysers or ice. I can't remember. It's been a couple of years in COVID. But where you're going to have to put all of your mechs on a line and fight, and then one player has to roll, and then the whole other force falls through the ice. And it's just, that's how it is.
Can you target hexes of ice and make them fall through?
I mean, probably for that map pack. They will probably have rules specifically for that.
That would suck. I don't know if I want to play on that map.
I think they did. I think it was explosive. So yeah, they're going to give like one player like the ability to target a hex and it explodes. Boom. But who knows? Who knows? I'm not involved in that thing, thankfully. So I should not be. Yeah. A lot of stuff coming.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
And it is nice if we get to see it kind of in person a little bit before we have to buy it, right?
It does help. That was one problem with the Kickstarter is like you're essentially putting money down on things you won't be able to see. Like you have no idea what the models of some things will look like when you have to purchase. It's like, oh, do I commit everything? Like, I don't know what everything's going to look like. How's it going to work? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Well, especially when the first couple of box sets, when we were unlocking new things, they didn't have the art yet.
Yeah.
When we were kickstarting, we're like, I don't know what this is going to look like. We just got to believe in the heart of the mechs and put our money down.
Yeah, my brain don't work like that. Can't see it, doesn't exist.
Lots of new stuff.
So we want to get into some hobby progress. Are we ready after 40-ish minutes to just move from news into hobby progress?
We can. I've got a lot of hobby progressing done.
Well, why don't you kick it off?
Okay. First things first, I've acquired a new printer, which is fantastic. Not like a 3D printer. No, just a regular paper printer. Why is this hobby progress? Because previously, if I wasn't in the office and I couldn't steal a couple sheets of paper, I had to go to the library to print things because my old printer died and I never got around to fixing it because everything's digital nowadays. Well, I started going to the game shop and I realized, man, I really need more copies of my list. So I got a new printer and I can now print all the record sheets. It's fantastic.
That's hilarious. Like I've been in that situation where
it just wasn't a priority.
No, it's like, oh, I'm using these like same 4 or 5 mechs. Like I print them out once wherever I can, then I just roll with it. And then you start assembling a collection. You're like, well, I want to run this variant of the Hollander today. And you don't have that sheet. And you're like, oh no, I have to find a printer between me and the game store within 24 hours. And you're like, oh,
it's a mad dash right into Kinko's or God knows where, right? It's
texting people like, can you print me out a Hollander F7? And it's like, no, I'm already at the game store. It's like, you're worthless.
You're dead to me. In actual hobby progress.
That's hobby progress. Come on.
It's minimal hobby progress. We've got lots to get through. If you've been paying attention on the Discord, I announced and released photographs of my new Secret Inner Sphere lance that we talked about last episode. I opted to select the Free Worlds League, so I'm doing House Merrick. I'm doing the Merrick Militia. I had painted up a guillotine, an archer, a blackjack, and a rifleman. Buying is hobby progress. I purchased a whole host of Ironwind Metal crabs, hermit crabs. I did get an Ares Hephaestus variant, picked up a blade, a Wendigo, and a Giuliano to go with my new Free World League specs. I have since assembled those, and I also assembled a Huron Warrior I found sitting in my back room. It's amazing what you can discover when you clean things. You're like, oh, look, I found old Ironwind Metal specs I didn't realize I had.
How long have you had that Huron Warrior?
Probably 8 months.
Okay, that's not that bad. If it was like pre-COVID, I would have been like, Steve, come on, man. Like,
No. And I got a bunch of painting done. I've got a bunch of stuff primed. I did get my Loki Mark II primed and base coated. Working on a Kingfisher, an Ice Ferret, an Executioner for my Jade Falcons. And I did a thing. I went through... So, as I've been talking about the last couple of episodes, I have this catalog of all of my unpainted plastic. I said, okay, I'm now painting Free Worlds League in for a penny and for a pound. Let's look at Sarna and find out what mechs they produce. So I just went through and I just started pulling everything that has a factory in the Free Worlds League and started painting it. So I've got Warhammers, Orions, Wraiths, Trebuchets, Locusts, Black Knights, Marauders, Stalkers. I actually assembled my premium Eris that I had.
ooh,
Because that's
that's
a Free
very
Worlds League
Freel's work.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I'm not going to do it now, I might as well get to it. So that coupled with the blade, the Wendigo, which is hilarious because the Wendigo is actually a Novacat mech. But because of how that all went down, they end up in the Free Worlds League. So I'm like, I'll paint a Wendigo, sure. And I've got that Giuliano as well. They're looking really nice. I think where I'm at right now, I just need to do cockpits, and I'll release photos of those on the Discord when I get them done.
That Giuliano is definitely like winner of the Dark Age faction. Whose mechs look the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I tried to pose them. So when you get the Ironwind Metal model, you get to pose like the feet, the calf, and the shin. I'm sorry, that's the same. It's
leg, and leg.
Yeah, the thigh, the calf, and the foot are all posable. And I put them together the first time, and looking at him dead on, he looked amazing. And then I turned him on the side, and I realized that he's like leaning way back. And I'm like, oh no. So I had to break the poor Giuliano's legs and try again. And now he's got this like swagger pose. Not as good as the Kentaro swagger, but it's pretty good. So we'll leave him as is for now.
You sent me that picture and I was like, oh, he leaning real back.
I glued one leg and the one leg looked good. Then I did the other leg and that was fine. And then I realized like, oh, he's got a little bit of a lean to it. But
now, is he supposed to be running? Is that why? Or
with the current pose, yeah, he's supposed to be moving and he's kind of taking a step forward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, looking at the art, his right leg is down and left leg is like kicked out and up. Like he's a cat in a litter box or something.
I don't think I've got mine that far out.
No, but at least that's how the art is. So
yeah. But no, honestly, in the past 2 weeks, I think I will have, if I finish these cockpits in the next day or two, I will have done 11 mechs in 14 days. And that's pretty good turnaround time for me.
Is there like a tournament coming up? Are you held hostage and doing someone's commission? Like,
no, honestly, it's just, so after Southern Assault, I was in a funk. You know, you ramp up and you play a bunch and you get ready and you paint a whole lot and you're like, okay, cool. It's over. I can rest. And then February came around and I dropped the Motor City Mayhem packet and I'm like, okay, then I had to ramp up for my own tournament and I ran that. And then May it was over and I could rest. And it took me until July before I was really like, I want to paint again, you know, because there's something about painting that if you're not in the mood to paint, you will notice a difference in the quality of the, end result. So you just have to be in the mood to do it. And I got bit by that bug and I'm just cranking them out now. So
it is very easy for painting to become a chore instead of a hobby if you're not in the mindset for it to be the hobby.
Yep. No, exactly. And because it is a hobby and not a job, if you're not enjoying doing it, we all have too little free time in our lives to waste it doing things we don't feel like doing. So if you want to paint, take on that gray plastic horde and do your best. But if you really don't want to, it's okay to take a break from time to time.
Wise words. Wise words.
The last bit of hobby progress, I cannot say I did myself. I have several people to thank. So we will talk about this later, I'm sure, but I have been slowly collecting crabs for a thing. I did pick up a bunch of them.
What thing could that be?
So the day before Southern Assault kicks off, Lord Carbon and I sit down and have a grudge match that we've named Crabback. I run all crabs, he runs all hunchbacks, and every year we clash to see who has the superior 50-ton mech. We have tried to go legit, as it were, and we're now acquiring, CGL plastics as opposed to whatever we could get our hands on before. So I have to thank Steak from the Discord. I want to thank Luke. I want to thank Martin. I want to thank Jesse from my local game shop. And I want to thank Jason Hansa. All 5 of them have been kind enough to send me their crabs. So I now have 5 CGL crabs along with the Iron Man Metal ones I picked up. I still need more, so I'm still on the hunt for crabs, but we are getting there. And, the pinnacle of evolution is the crab, and we're building the forces.
I mean, last year, how much money did you two raise for charity?
That's right. So what I didn't mention is that Crabback is a charity game where we raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Last year, we raised $1,075 for the Children's Miracle Network. And that was pretty awesome. That was pretty great to see the Battletech community come together and just, throw money at something dumb, but at the same time helping other people. And I will not talk about the results of both Crabbacks because it didn't go favorably for me, but this year's our year. I got a feeling.
I mean, you lost Crabback, but you won Southern Assault that year. So it's kind of a...
Look, I put my effort. It was a warm-up game. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Had to get the juices flowing.
I just have to ask, how much are you hoping to raise this year for the Crabback charity event?
I mean, I was ecstatic when we raised over $100 last time. I mean, people were throwing money at us to, encourage me to play a game of Alpha Strike, which was wild to me, right? I would love to say I'd like to do better than we did last year. I think that'd be fantastic. I mean, the money goes to the Children's Miracle Network to help sick kids, so it's not like it's going to a bad cause. I'd love to say I'd like to raise more than we did last year, but I think that's an incredibly high bar, and I don't want to be disappointed. So I will raise as much as I can.
That's the most honorable Falcon thing any Falcon could say. So, we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough. What about you, Josh? Did you get any hobby progress in?
We ain't done crap. I got my Kickstarter box, and I was like, great plastic for this month, boys.
Hey, that's good. Look, buying is hobby progress. You got it in the mail. You're doing better than most. I still don't have my stuff. I'm jealous.
I made that meme of, was it Squidward looking out the window at SpongeBob and Patrick running? It's like 98% of the Battletech fan base, me and 2 other people running with our mercenary Kickstarters.
Yeah, just rub it in our face.
I mean, let's get real. This whole episode is rub it in people's faces. Gently.
Yeah.
Gently, Rob.
All right. What I will say is that I have gotten my email. I just haven't got my shipping email. So soon, TM.
Soon, TM. I think I measured it was 21 days from email to receipt. So
it's not too bad.
That's not too bad. And like we said on the last episode, the Kickstarter's going smooth. It's just a large Kickstarter that probably this shipping and company have done. So, if it's coming to the door and it's not wrong, And they're not asking for more money to ship it out. Like, they're not playing hostage games. So I'm going to say it's a success, and we're just waiting.
I think that's fair. And honestly, I don't think I've seen anybody posting anything saying that they got their order wrong. I do know that some of the SRM carriers are missing LRM pods, or maybe the other way around. LRM carriers are missing SRM pods. But other than that, I think things have been pretty good.
That's what I say. I haven't checked mine, and as I move the box right now to look.
Do you have your SRM pods, Josh?
I have 2 LRM pods and 2 SRM pods, so we are A-OK.
Well, good for you.
Good for me. Screw y'all.
I thought that was implied.
Always is. All right, let's move on to some games played. Woo! We are not even out of the coolant flush yet.
No.
Steve, me and you, somehow, through the powers of modern 21st century technology, got a game in.
We did. That was wild. That was our first classic game together.
It was.
It went about as well as you could expect.
That was terrible.
Okay. So we met up a little while ago to play a Mega Mech game, and we definitely stole a server from the fine folks over at the MRC. And it turns out we didn't check what special rules were selected, and it turns out they were all on.
Yeah, so this is for their company command tournament that they were doing with all of the quirks and special pilot abilities. So like they were running as high level advanced Mega Mech, doing the hard work as possible as you could. But we did not know that when we jumped in. So we were like, cool.
Free server, let's go.
Free server, let's go. And we hop in and we start rolling. And what was the first thing you noticed?
It was a glancing blow, I think. Or was it?
I thought it was sprinting, like the fact that you could sprint.
You could sprint. And I'm like, what's this pink line mean? That's unusual. It only got worse from there, folks.
Yeah. So what did you take this classic game?
So I took I took effectively a command lance of the Chaos Irregulars. So Jake Chowler runs a Grasshopper, Ariel Peregrine runs a Huron Warrior, and Jake Chowler's wife, Rima, runs a Mongoose. So I took the Mongoose 66B, the Grasshopper 5H, and the Huron Warrior R4L.
Sounds good. I took a Blitzkrieg. There's only one variant. It's a UAC 20. I took...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's coming back to him now. A regular 15-point regular Gauss Rifle Hollander. No special one, just regular. And then I took a base model Uziel, or Uziel.
So how'd this game go, Josh?
Not good.
It was just, I mean...
I think there was one part where you ran through a building because...
I tried to move in a position and I clicked wrong, or I don't know what happened. I really wish that Mega Mech had an oopsie daisy button and you could just go back. But I walked straight through a building.
Like, it just needs a, are you sure about that button? Like,
that would be ideal. But no, I walked my Grasshopper through a building. I mean, honestly, this whole thing, okay, we could go turn by turn.
No.
But I think to sum it up, it turned into both of us getting more frustrated at all the special rules that were turned on. And like, I guess I'm just going to shoot this guy because I can see him and I can stand here and I'll shoot fine. And we focused more on trying to not kill ourselves with the special rules than it turned into an actual brawl.
The advanced heat rules just destroyed us. Like our brains just can't comprehend that.
I have a hard enough time with classic as it is. You start turning on special rules, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Stuff's just happening. I don't care. And I think at one point I had something like 56 heat or something ridiculous. It was not good. It was not good.
You had was an engine explosion or something, and it killed that mech and my pilot who had ejected right next to him.
Yeah. Yes, that was great. That was pretty good.
Like, there were fun parts of it. That was it.
No, there were some good ones. But I think at the very end, I got some lucky hits and some lucky crits. And what was alive at the end? I think I'd killed all of your stuff, and it was just my Huron Warrior who was like falling over, or the Huron Warrior die.
My Hollander got your Huron Warrior and just was slowly finishing off. The Blitzkrieg tried to put 20 points into the rear of your Grasshopper, and I think between that and Zeal killed it. And I think it was...
The Mongoose was alive.
The Mongoose was alive, and I want to say the Grasshopper did not die.
Oh, no,
until it... Okay, so it died. It just was alive longer than it should have after taking Blitzkrieg back shots.
Yeah, no, so what happened is he had to... he failed the PSR, and he fell down, and the Grasshopper was just done, because he, like, knocked himself out, and he was lying there. But yeah, the Mongoose, I think, was the last thing standing, and that was after we got into a kick fight. The Uziel and the Mongoose got into a kick fight on that hill. And I think that's how that ended. But it was a mess. The Mongoose had to kill your last pilot because pilot ejection was on, rather than like automatically fleeing.
Die like a man.
Last turn was
die like a man, Mechwarriors.
Just sit in your command couch and go up in flames.
Ejection the way Blake seats intended. Cost C-bills, and I ain't paying for that.
But that was a fun game, despite all of the challenges we had.
Yeah. Well, did you get any other games in?
I did. I actually got 2 games in at the local game shop. I got a game of Classic in and a game of Alpha Strike.
Another game of Classic?
I did. In the same night. I played both back to back.
Wait, that was the same night? You madman.
It
was like the grinder all over again.
I can't help myself, Josh.
Give him a little Classic and he takes the whole thing.
It's true. It's true. So, yeah, I got a game of Alpha Strike in. I played Luke. He brought Snow Ravens. I brought my Jade Falcons. Luke brought a Crossbow B, Kodiak 3, Goshawk 2, Piranha, the Grendel F, the Thor HH, Kingfisher H, and the Shadowcat I, along with an onerous attack VTOL, which was disgusting, and I hated it.
Yeah, it is.
And 2 pairs of Elemental 3s. I brought... So I will preface this with, there is a tournament going on in Michigan, the Michigan GT, that is a 400 PV battle with all sorts of different missions that you can practice for. And one of those missions is an objective-based mission. And someone in the local game shop group had said, hey, I want to practice this. Can people build 400-point lists for this objective-based mission? I said, sure. So I built one with the intent of being an objective-grabby list. So I brought a Fire Falcon I, a Dasher E. I brought an Uller H, the Ryokan H, the Battle Cobra A, the Pouncer T, my Jade Hawk 3. I did bring my Loki Mark II T variant that is half painted. I brought 2 Butcher Birds, the C and the D, and I brought an Elemental 3 battle armor and a Stormbird battle armor. The intention behind this list was most of the things moved 12 inches or faster, with the majority of them being above 16 inches of movement, right? It was really meant to be very fast, very light, hit and run type tactics. This did not suit the map that we played on, and I made a couple of bad gambles that ended up costing me the game. Turn 1, Luke's onerous killed my Dasher, and I was extremely lucky. My Battle Cobra dodged 9 shots on 7s.
Luke times.
Missed, 9 times. He missed everything. And my Fire Falcon killed Luke's Piranha. Turn 2, my Stormbirds managed to kill the Kingfisher, and the Shadowcat survives with 1 HP, which was tragic. This is what hurt me. The Kingfisher H, with his 7 medium range damage, stood still, dropped down to skill 3, and completely obliterated my Stormbirds and my Ryokan.
Dude. Oh.
And I'm like, well, that's not good, because my Ryokan's my brawler. Right, he's one of the tougher units in my list, and that did not go over so well. The Goshawk then killed my Ion Sparrow, and thankfully, right, his Elemental 3s ended up missing on 6s, which was great. But my Battle Cobra gets killed by the crossbow. So in one turn, I lost 4 mechs, which was pretty brutal, and a set of battle armor. Turn 3, the Goshawk kills my Fire Falcon. Summoner kills my Kit Fox. The Kodiak kills my Loki Mark II. My Fire Falcon kills his Kodiak, which is great. And
that's an uptrade right there. Like that.
Did you not listen when I just described that 3 other mechs got killed before that happened?
Yeah.
It was not going very well. I did get an ammo crit on his crossbow, which was very exciting. My Kitfox ammo crit the crossbow, but the crossbow has case, so that survived. At this point, I am now reeling and falling back. My Jadehawk does manage to get a long-range shot with 1 pip of damage to kill the Shadowcat from downtown. And then the Onerous promptly kills the Jadehawk, and the Grendel kills my Elementals. Which means I have 1 Ion Sparrow left, 1 Butcherbird left. So turn 5 and 6 are me running around, hiding behind cover, trying to figure out a plan. And my luck runs out on turn 7 when his Onerous catches up to me and just puts me down like the dog I was. It did not go very well. So that was a little bit of a bummer. But he played well, and Luke did a great job. And if he's going to use that list, I think he will do very well at the tournament. So that was fun. But before I played that monstrosity of a game, I managed to play a classic game where I brought out my new Free Worlds League Merrick Militia.
Ooh.
So I brought the Blackjack 2 OD, the Archer 8M, the Rifleman 5M, and the Guillotine 5M. So I had a lot of lasers and a little bit of LRM 15s with the Archer. Martin was a champion, and he brought a Cicada 3M, a Jenner 7D, an Orion 1MA, a Summoner F or a Thor F, the Archer 5CS as well. So this was a little bit more concerning because Martin is much more experienced in Classic than I am, and he had more units than I did. But my guys were all 3-5, and he had all 4-5 guys, and I think that's ultimately what helped me out. So on turn 1, everyone moves in, and I fired every single thing I could at his Jenner, and it died. That felt great. That was good. I killed the Jenner on turn 1, but it took 4 heavy mechs shooting at it to do so. Turn 1 is when he just planked my Guillotine a little bit, just enough to force a PSR, and my Guillotine decided that was a fantastic time to conduct an involuntary ground inspection and whacked his face on a rock.
Buddy.
He didn't die, but that's never a good way to start a game, right? It's like, I killed the Jenner, and my Guillotine has a crippling head whack.
Has brain damage.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get real. The Guillotine having head damage is kind of par for the naming course.
What is uncanny is after turn 1, I rolled more 12s than I think I have ever rolled in the game of Battletech. Turn 2, we exchanged fire. My Guillotine fell down a second time, this time landing on his back, doing rear armor damage. In turn 3, my Guillotine manages to stand up and shoot the Orion in the face. And it was amazing. The Cicada, which was not a Cicada. The Cicada was... Oh, no, it was a Cicada. I'm sorry. He had 1 proxy on the field, so I'm trying to make sure I get it right. The Cicada got blown away by my Rifleman after it had harried my Archer in the back for 2 turns. On turn 4, my Guillotine finally gave up the ghost. He had spent 4 turns dumping everything he had into this Guillotine with a little bit of harassing fire into my Archer. It died in a hail of gunfire and took 4 engine criticals in 1 turn. So I'm like, I go, wait a minute. Aren't there special rules about stack pulling when you take multiple engine hits? So we looked up the rule, and lo and behold, that triggers an engine critical. And it blew up, dealing 14 damage to my Archer, who was in the next hex over. Things are not looking good at this point, because I've killed 2 of his light mechs, and I did get his Orion, which was okay, but most of my guys are pretty messed up at this point. Turn 5 is where things really turn around. I got like 7 headshots in 1 turn. I hit the Thor in the head with a medium laser, and then I hit it in the head with the little 2-point cluster from an LRM-15. So it's not quite dead by like a pip. And I'm really frustrated because you get 2 headshots in a turn. You're like, oh my God, how could I not kill this mech? Well, then on a hit location, I roll a 2 and that's a floating critical. So I have to find out where that floating critical goes. And it rolls a 12. So now I've floating critical the head. And I'm rolling, and I roll a 4. On this Thor, the 4 slot is roll again. And I'm looking for a 3 to get that cockpit crit. I roll again, and I get another 4. And then I finally roll a 3. So I got 2 head hits, didn't kill the pilot, got a floating critical, and then took out the cockpit. I felt very bad for Martin, but I was also very excited. And in response, the Thor cored out my rifleman. He just blew he rolled like all of his hits, ended up landing in the center torso, and just took it out. So now all that was left was my archer, which was not in great shape. And the guillotine was dead. The rifleman was dead. So it was just my archer and the blackjack. And what ends up happening on the final turn 6 is I end up hitting his archer, and I get a critical gyro, so it falls over. And at that point, it's a 2v1, and things are not looking good. So we end up calling the game. But Martin was a good sport, and he entertained me. Kind of. It's never fun when someone whoops and hollers at the other end of the table, but when you get that many headshots, I couldn't help myself. So
there's definitely like that little bit of like, that was so unstatistical. Like it wasn't even like me getting beat by the person. It was just like, you have to sit there and laugh with the person. Like I'm like, I'm sorry. Yes, beat them in the face. And like, it's like, no, you just have to join in at that point. Like, all right, so it's going to be one of those games tonight. Let's just buckle up.
Roll with it. Yeah. So it was a good time. And ever since that grinder, man, I've had more fun playing Classic that was not that one grinder to Adepticon. It's been growing on me quite a bit.
But it does. Like a bad fungus or something. Like it grows on you until it takes root.
Yeah. Yeah. But you also got some games in. What about you?
Oh, man. Well, besides the game with you, of course, I got a game against Cayman. So this was like the same week that I got my Mercenaries Kickstarter box set. And I was like, I want to play with this right now. So I messaged and I met up with him. I was like, cool. I'm taking whatever's in the box. I don't care. I took the Devastator, the Quick Draw, the Star Slayer, and the Caesar. I just took I want to say like the Civil War variants of all of those. So nothing too crazy, but nothing, super wild. Because there are the Oakland variants in there. So he took a Black Knight 9, a Kintaro C, a Griffin, and an Archer CS. So this was like Comstar-ish force. And we played one of our Mechbay missions. So this one had the like supply drops where we all put some objectives out, and then they scatter so they don't land exactly where we want them to. And this was fun. There were some wild things this game. First off, Devastator can't hit for crap. Neither really can the Star Slayer. But that's not his fault. That's mine. I was running all 4/4s against some 3/4s and stuff. I will say, the Quick Draw, for being the worst mech, in my opinion, on the field that day. He gets a gyro hit. He stays standing. The Archer is exactly whatever jump distance away from the Quick Draw. I'm like, he's in heavy woods. He's on an objective. He's within jump distance of a Quick Draw. I'm a pilot 4. My brain's doing the math. It's like, I can do it. I just got to roll.
Oh, no.
I just got to roll well enough. Quick Draw jumps. Now, when you jump with a broken hip, you have to make a PSR at the end of your movement. Not at the end of the turn, end of movement. So you jump and then it's like, are you stable? And I'm stable. I roll it. 6 up.
Nice.
Easy peasy.
Nice.
Hip crits, you can't kick. But the rules don't say you can't DFA. It's, quote, it's just falling with style. I was like, okay, with piloting skill difference, all that. I was like, okay, this is doable. This is 4, 5, 6, 7 for jump. The DFA, the piloting. I was like, I just need to 6 up for once on a jump. This is wild. I still fail it. I throw a 3. I was like, the easiest DFA of my life. Still fail. My Quick Draw with a broken hip, but he does push the Archer out of the hex, which is That's the
something.
one benefit of a DFA. Even if you fail, the target has to move, like, because you're a flaming ball of wreck that's, falling midair. Like, they're not going to take it. So then the Devastator gets to wallop Gauss rounds at the Archer. And eventually, after the Archer ran through, I want to say 4 bins of LRM-15 ammo.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean, the Devastator was taking LRMs like it was his job. The Gauss rounds do finally get into his last bin of side torso ammo, and cooks it off. I was like, okay, did it the hard way, but okay. The Starslayer is over there fighting the Griffin and the Kintaro. The Starslayer, at least this variant, not enough heat sinks to jump and fire everything, so I'm slowly cooking every turn, nailing into the back of the Griffin, and then nailing into the back of the Kintaro, never killing either. But I mean, I've got 2 large lasers and an SRM4, and I'm gonna dump it. Like, come on. These are low number shots. These are like 6s for me walking and them just turning. Like, it's like, I need these. Still not getting it. Starslayer is not an XL, so he lost his right torso, and then he lost his left torso. It's like, oops. I think all he has is a small laser in the head, and I was like, the classic small laser in the head conundrum. He eventually dies. He fought well, so salute you, Starslayer pilot. The real match was the Caesar versus the Black Knight, because the Caesar had medium pulses, the Gauss rifle, and an ERPPC. So he's got some heavy damage if he can just outmaneuver the Black Knight. And he did until the very last turn, where the Black Knight finally was going to get to use its hatchet, and I blew that arm off. Ugh. And I was like, buddy.
No time like the present.
No time like the present. I will say this was definitely weird, because I noticed all these variants have rear-facing guns. That's one of those things, like, I don't want to say us Optimum players, but like when we're looking, it's like, ew, rear-facing lasers. Get that away from me. But me using just the record sheet, the ones that come in the box set, like, oh, all these have like 1 or 2 medium lasers or something in the rear. I was like, I don't know if I like that or not.
Did they come in handy at all?
I shot them. I can't think of me hitting it with any of them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the quick draw, after jumping back onto the other objective, he had fallen after failing the DFA.
Right.
He had gotten up and then jumped with the broken hip, passing that again, landing on the objective he came from. I was like, quick draw. I don't know what to think about you, but it's got 2 rear-facing mediums, and after losing an arm, I want to say as well, he had more offensive capabilities going rear than forward. So I was like, yeah, we'll put some rear lasers under the Black Knight.
Might as well, right? Especially after a long battle and you got more armor in the back than you do the front.
Yeah. Oh, for real. But that was a good game. That was fun to test those new mechs out.
Cool. Overall, they performed the way you wanted them to?
Quick draw, I don't know. I have to reevaluate my emotional judgment of that. Everything else was kind of roughly what it was. The Caesar, at least this variant, less side torso armor than it has side arm armor. So, yeah.
That's bizarre.
Like significant. Like, I want to say like 13, 15 side torso and like 20 arm.
Interesting
Indeed. So that definitely changed how I thought about the game. Like I said, Devastator was fine. He just put Gauss rifle rounds wherever he wanted.
As he pleases.
All right. What else? I had a game against Jeff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You met Jeff. We love Jeff.
Yeah, we love Jeff. I played Jeff at Southern Assault 3.
Yeah.
We played in the lava map that we turned into water because neither of us wanted to look up lava rules.
I respect that.
We started at the beginning. I said, Jeff, like, do you want to do this as lava or water? Because I won deployment and I got to pick the side of the river that had all the objectives, and he was on the other side of the river. So I'm like, if you don't want this to be lava, we don't have to make this lava because that would be really bad for you, because he had a bunch of tanks. So I'm like, pretty sure they would just die. So we made it water.
We made the lava water.
Yeah. It worked out okay. It was fun. That was tied for one of my top 2 most fun games I played at Southern Assault 3. So yes, I know Jeff. You got to tell Jeff how to go.
I brought the Kraken /Bane. Let's get real. I got new plastic. I'm going to take new plastic. So sorry, everyone. You're going to hear about it. So I took the Kraken. I want to say this was the 6th. This is the Protomech AC2s. Intending to take specialty ammos. I did not take specialty ammos. Woe is me. Mainly because you can't take precision Protomech AC ammo. You can take every other kind except precision. Don't ask me how. Yeah, Steve's just like, bro, you're the Protomech guy. Don't even look at me.
Yeah, don't look at me, man.
I took a Shadowhawk 2C, a Griffin 2C, and the pathetic but lovable Jenner 2C.
All right, so we got like all second line stuff and
all
some
my
giant
second line boys.
Missile monstrosity.
I did also take a Void Battle Armor at 3-4. All the rest are 4-4, Void Battle Armor, Nova Cat specifically 3-4.
Okay.
Jeff took a C3 boosted, technically star of Dragon Gunslinger. I want to say it's Spider. Don't quote me on that. Probably a Spider. And 2 Void Battle Armor.
Ooh, Void on Void fights.
Void on Void fight. I was like, oh, wow, this is pretty lore appropriate because Karita fighting to kill some Nova Cats. Yeah, I know how this game's going to go lore-wise. So we played a mission. Essentially, we had 2 bases, and we had to protect our bases. It was like a construction factor 100 with a bunch of like construction factor 25 adjacent buildings. So like one central spire and like a lot of little supporting buildings around it. So all of my mechs except the Kraken, like good jump, like very good jump, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, sure.
Kraken, no, not that at all. And
He
we're
just stands still and shoots missiles. That's all he does.
but he don't got missile. He got Protomech ACs.
Oh, why'd you take that one?
Because I wanted to.
Well, that's your own fault.
I know. But yeah, so the best part comes where I'm running the Kraken up and I get to a river.
Of lava?
No, not of hot lava, of actual water, of Death 1 water. And the previous turn, I had fired all of my weapons and gone up to 5 heat. That puts me at a 2-3. Unfortunately, standing next to the water, or not standing next to the water, I need 3 movement points to walk into the water because you cannot run into water.
Nope.
So I have to stand next to this delicious hydrating stream that I cannot walk into because I'm too hot. I cannot physically run into it. But it was fun because I had to plink away with AC2s. Just I had 2 hands of 5 pairs of dice and be like, this is the left arm, and I'd roll it, and then I'd hit like 4 or 5, and then I'd roll, this is the right arm, and I'd hit with none of them. I was like, this seems right.
All right. That sucks when you can't get into water to cool off like that.
Well, it doesn't have heat sinks in the leg, so it wasn't actually going to cool me off, but I did think it was funny. I was like, the Kraken can't get in the water today, folks. He's too slow. The highlights of that game were his dragon came running down. It's a master supercharger, or maybe I want to say it's both actually, because it booked it. And my Shadowhawk 2C jumped, and it's like right behind it. And I need a stupidly high to hit number because I'm shooting a heavy large laser. The 18 points of damage. Yeah. Stupidly. And I'm like, I'm right in his rear arc. All I need to do is roll it. Steve, I hit the CT for 18 points of damage. Just roll 12s, folks. It's all you need. You don't need to be good at Battletech. You just need to be lucky, like me. I save it up all week.
Luck is your skill.
To be fair, this game was on my birthday, and I did look across at Jeff as I roll the 12 to hit with the heavy large laser, rear CT on his dragon that's about to run through my force and spot for all of his C3 boosted stuff. And I was like, I'm sorry, Jeff. And he's like, this is so wild. I was like, no, it's my birthday. The dice have to give it to me.
They're contractually obligated to do something nice for me on my birthday.
Exactly. So I hit him. I do put a lot of micropulse little lasers into him. I don't think I got anything until like the last one hits the gyro. It's like, Dragon ran fast, but Dragon goes down. By this point, I was like, okay. The Griffin 2C is going after his objective. The Jenner 2C is kind of maneuvering to like, okay, well, I will finish off this dragon because I have SRMs and ATMs. Shadowhawk is large damage one place. Jenner medium damage a lot of place. So I was like, we got a thought. We're doing this tactically. Next turn, I maneuver the Jenner in to really try to exploit He gets defense on the splitting the hex line, so he chooses it not in his rear. Brilliant tactical decision. Don't let the Jenner into my rear arc. Make it hit the side. And that's when that C3 boost that really comes into effect.
Oh, sure.
2 Gauss rounds rip that Jenner to shreds.
Good night, sweet prince.
Mm-hmm. It's came back to me now fully. The Shadowhawk did not jump. The Shadowhawk walked to get that shot on the dragon and took 2 Gauss rounds into its right arm and right torso.
Ouch.
Because I was like, I'm going to do a trade. I'm trading my armor for a heavy large laser in your rear.
Sure.
Was it worth it? Yeah, it was. The problem is now that Shadowhawk 2C is going to spend the next 4 or 5 turns chasing the spider that is jumping and shooting my base while my Griffin 2C is jumping and shooting his base. My Griffin 2C unfortunately gets murdered down by his Void battle armor because these second lines, they're good, they're fun, but they don't have a lot of armor. They are meant to be mobile and harassing and not frontlining, which kind of works for the name.
Yeah.
By the end of it, though, my Bane is in a sniping duel, 7 hexes away from his gunslinger. We're firing 2. He's firing 2 Gauss rounds, and I'm firing 10 AC2s. He's gotten through pretty much all of my right armor, and he's just hoping to find the entire bottom section of the record sheet. It's just AC2 ammo. It's I just need one. I just need 1 Gauss round or 1 laser. Just hit that inside torso, and you go to sleep. No, it didn't happen, but by the end, that was all that was left, really. Yeah, the Griffin 2C got literally chewed up by the battle armor. They had swarmed, actually swarmed me, and the other one attacked me. Didn't get anything good. Swarm was crawling around at me. My Void battle armor did, once his dragon decided to get up, did attack him and take out some more leg stuff. So he wasn't getting up, and then I want to say the Kraken and the Void battle armor took him down. So it was a great even slug match, with a mission, which is how I love it.
Yeah, sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it was a big game.
We had a lot of games played this week.
We had a lot of games. I mean, BattleTech right now, everyone's they're a little rabid. They're a little foaming at the mouth to get out and play, especially with the new plastic.
Some of us don't have our new plastic, Josh.
I'm sorry.
We're just excited to play BattleTech.
I can't help it. All right, we got a little.
Send me your stuff.
I will try. We just have a few quick upcoming events, so we'll touch on those real fast. November 9th, we have the Glass City Alpha Strike Tournament at the Toledo Game Room in Toledo, Ohio.
That's one of the guys who came to local MCM told me about it and asked for a shout out. So that's it's got 24 slots available. Looks like it's going to cost $20 at the door. It is a WolfNet 350 tournament, so expect to plan on Jihad era and reach out to glasscity@gmail.com for registration and or questions.
We have, as always, the Southern Assault. This is Southern Assault 4.
Yes.
And that is November 1st. Time change weekend, boys and girls.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
The good news is this year, two major changes. I'm just going to hit those right now. Artillery, skill 4 or 5.
Yep. Huge. No more target number 6, area of attack, shooting the ground.
Yeah.
None of that.
It's up to you if you want to take it, but it's got a skill. You cannot send your artillery to the good schools anymore. Public school or homeschool. That's it.
And the other big change?
You can take your Greyhound mech. That's right. The Mechbay Podcast mascot mech gets to ride. And we have a special Southern Assault 4 variant. If I'm remembering right, it's 5 armor, 2 or 3 structure. It is 5 damage short, 4 damage medium, 0 star damage long. TMM 3, 16 inches. Yeah. And with a special fire resistant and melee.
I'm excited. It was funny. I'm like, man, I should paint up a Greyhound because, got to rep the brand. And I was looking through my box of gray plastic that I found in the back. This is where I found my Huron Warrior, actually, as I was looking for the Greyhound. And turns out I have 3. So I was pretty excited to assemble another one. And I painted one as my Jade Falcons already that you've seen before. So this one I think I'm going to do up as Free Worlds League. And that way, no matter what army I decide to play at Southern Assault, I will have a Greyhound ready to go.
I know.
So,
now I have to decide which faction I want to do so I can paint up which Greyhound I want. Like I can technically have a Greyhound per faction, but it's like
you should. How come you don't? How do you not have Greyhounds all over your house?
Because I have one, 80 pounds. It's all over my house.
Fair enough. No, I'm excited for Southern Assault. That's coming up sooner than you think.
It creeps up on you, man.
Yeah, I got to start. I've been putting off list building. I'm not ready.
None of us are. We'll do that next time.
We got the SoCal Open coming up on October 19th and 20th in Del Mar, California.
Yeah, I want to say CDT agent Jesty from the Aviator Academy.
And Coolant Pod as well.
Oh, yeah. Jesty gets around.
Busy man.
All right, we've got Fall Brawl in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and that is on September 28th, and that is a 375 PV Alpha Strike tournament.
Awesome. If you're looking for a fun weekend put on by the MRC folks down in Nashville, you can join NashCon on August 16th through the 18th. I know they've got all sorts of narrative games, classic games, Alpha Strike games. They've got a whole host of stuff that you can check out. You can also listen to the Coolant Pod. They have an episode recently talking about what to expect at NashCon and what some of the hosts are bringing to that tournament as well. Sounds like a good time.
We have FlagCon. And I want to say it's 5 Lakes. It's not like the convention of flags. It's like an abbreviation, like 5 Lakes and something. But yeah, that is in Ithaca, New York, and that is going to be an Alpha Strike and Classic. So multiple days. I love the multiple days events. You get best of both worlds.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun, but they're also a slog. When you got to go multiple days, you're like, Southern Assault is one thing. You're getting 6 games in 2 days. By the end of day 2, your brain is mush. I mean, you remember what you did at Adepticon.
I love the mush, though.
You did not look like you love the mush.
I mean, that was more so like, I've bit off way more than I could chew, but I chewed it whether I liked it or not.
Yeah, you put it on your plate, you're going to eat it.
Yeah.
But no, the multi-day events are certainly fun. And like I say all the time, right? I think that the events are way more fun just because you get to bump into people that you see and know, and you get to hang out with friends that you don't get to see very often because, these big events like this bring people from all over, right? And that's really the BattleTech is really the friends we made along the way.
It really is. But yeah, FlagCon is in Ithaca, New York, November 8th through the November 10th. And the last one is the Alpha Strike, unnamed Alpha Strike tournament in Taylor, South Carolina on September 28th. So I was going to say good year for BattleTech, but man, this is like a good 2 months for BattleTech.
Yeah, I think now that summer vacations are starting to wrap up, people are looking at fall to get their BattleTech on. Weather starts to turn a little colder and people go inside. Put
those kids to school, man. Dad wants to come out and play.
Any fan mail this week?
We do have some fan mail. Donovan Marsh asked, what is up with Dustin? Is he gone from the podcast? Also, I'm going to add on. They didn't ask this, but I know someone's thinking, where's Denim? First off, Denim, he's on vacation. He does get his Mechbay mandated 38 hours of PTO. So, but Dustin, no, he's not gone. He's just busy. He's playing some games, still painting stuff. He still runs the book club. So if you are on the Mechbay Podcast Discord, you and him essentially lead the book club where we all pick a book and we talk about it the next month. Like what did we just do?
We just did Brian Young's Without Question. And
Brian Young was there to answer and ask questions.
It's fantastic. I love when we have the BattleTech authors come join us. We have had Jason Hansen join us. Yes, we had Craig Reed on with us one time. And we have had Brian Young twice now, both for Without Question and A Question of Survival, which is the predecessor book. It's really fantastic to get to talk with the authors about their work. We've also had, I think David Eisenberger has been on as well when we read some of his short stories. So he's been around too. It's really a treat to be able to do book club with those authors and pick their brain about what they thought when they were writing and what you picked up on. It's really a fun experience. So if you like reading BattleTech, join the Discord. You can join us for book club. Our next book that we're reading is Emerald Swords, and we are getting together on
August 25th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Fantastic. Thank you, Josh.
And if you're not a part of the Mechbay Podcast Discord, you can click the show notes of this and any episode, and there's a link that will take you to the Discord and any other affiliates of ours. Steve, do we need a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors?
Sounds great. Let's boot up the HPG.
Timbiki Dark presents Real Mechs of Genius.
Real Mechs of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Warhammer full of machine gun ammo.
Mr. Warhammer full of machine gun ammo.
Pirates see you coming and you tell them, welcome to the PPC Gun Show.
Do you have a permit?
Defying the construction rules, you pack a PSR in your hands with room left over.
But are you gonna explode?
Like a ticking time bomb, you walk onto the battlefield and proudly strut your stuff.
Yeah!
As long as your leg armor holds up, you'll be dancing on their graves. So crack open a sweet Timbiki Dark Beautiful and just pray they don't roll attack.
Mr. Warhammer full of machine gun ammo.
All right, and we are back. And now, time to answer that big, I want to say like $70, $80 question. I actually don't know what the retail price on it is. I will check that hopefully before this comes out. If not, then we're going to still be guessing. But the question is, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
That's a great film.
It was disturbing. I'm going to say it was a great film, but it was disturbing.
Oh, yeah. In no way, shape, or form is that any sort of normal, but really very good performances by everyone involved.
yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay.
Anyway, what's in the box, Josh? Not all of us have our fancy stuff, so I'll sit here like a kid watching the other kids eat ice cream and let you talk about what's in your box.
Steve, why don't you have your box yet?
Apparently, they didn't get the memo that I've joined the podcast.
I don't use the podcast email account for any business. Thanks.
Well,
So-
maybe we'd get more stuff if you did.
That's true. You got me there. You got me there. But yeah, so like you said, not everyone has it, so we're not going to spoil too much. We aren't going to read you everything because that'd just be boring. What we are going to talk about is what is in it and is it going to be worth it? Like, is it something you're going to use? Like that kind of thing.
So just to make sure everyone's clear, we're not covering the entire Kickstarter, but just the Mercenary box set.
So first, I open up that crisp Commander's Edition, black carbon fiber-esque looking. It comes off. It's got that nice like sound when you open something. It's just, so good. ASMR, great, perfect. First thing you get, well, you got the Battletech Primer, because, maybe I don't know what's in this universe for the Kickstarter that I just purchased. And maybe I want a refresher. I want to know, like, what's mercenary life around here?
It's not good.
It's not good. They try to sweet talk it up, but we all know it's scrubbing latrines and waiting for salvage.
It's a little rough.
But so you get a mini universe primer. I like that all the BattleTech books have that included. You've got a
baseline.
Yeah, exactly. Like at this point, I don't know if it's for us anymore by this point, but for newer people, it is.
That's what you need. That's good.
Then you get a lovely little short story by Michael Ciaravella, No One Left Behind. So,
can I say just real quickly, I love that every box set that you get has a short story attached. I think that's fantastic because not only does it help set the stage for what you're expecting, it helps set the tone for the game you're about to play, but it also introduces you to lore that you may not know otherwise exists, right? And that really is a great way to get people into the lore as well. Like, know that there are other books out there. So I think that's great. I can't wait to read this one when I get it.
I used to keep those in my car with me in case like someone at the game store didn't know what universe was and they were trying to get into it. And I was like, oh, here's this little primer I've read. Like, I don't need to keep this around anymore. But if you want to get into the universe, here you go. Here's your first taste. First hit is free.
Good. Get them while they're young.
You've got your rule book, which it's not like a rule book of the previous rule books. Like the Clan Invasion was rules for how to play BattleTech, Clan Invasion, Game of Armor Combat, how to play these mechs. This is not those rule books. The Mercenaries Kickstarter is much more of an add-on to those, supplemental, almost like a DLC.
Okay. What does it cover?
Well, it covers the things in the box. We can skip ahead to that. So the box has battlefield support cards. It has a rebalanced BSP deck, and it does have pilot cards. So the rulebook actually covers that. The things that we used to be getting piecemeal, but now we have them all covered under one rulebook.
That's pretty handy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is actually a rulebook that I see myself reading more than the other ones. The other ones were just like how to move a battle mech. I'm like, well, I've already got battle mech manual in Total Warfare. I don't need to know that. This one is a little bit more in depth. The main portion of the rulebook that we'll be using and talking about at a later episode is how to build a mercenary company.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. And it has rules for that and many micro campaign and some like general ways to use all of the battlefield support cards and the BSP deck. So
now this rulebook is just a soft cover, stapled book, right? Well, just we were talking about BMM and Total Warfare. I didn't want people thinking that they were going to get a hardcover book inside this box.
Gotcha. Good call. Yeah, it's only 32 pages. It is a rulebook that covers the battlefield support cards, the rebalanced battlefield support point deck, and then how to run a chaos campaign mercenaries. And it's got all of the rules for doing that specifically under this rulebook in here. So you can open up the box set and you and your friend can run a mini 1v1 mercenaries chaos campaign.
Now here's a question for you. Sometimes the chaos campaign stuff is drafted solely for classic. In some of the more recent stuff that they've been doing, especially in the shrapnel things, they've been including Alpha Strike conversions. For those folks at home that play more Alpha Strike than Classic, does this book contain both Classic and Alpha Strike rule sets, or is it just Classic?
This one, as far as I've read, is just Classic. It tells you how to balance it specifically with BV.
Okay. All right. You never know, right? I mean, I from what I've seen, they've included the Alpha Strike cards in this box set as well. So I didn't know if they'd changed those rules or included those rules in the booklet or not.
No, I think because so much of this is based around like earning support points in the place of like C-bills, like they needed the higher level of, all right, you need to repair your mech's armor or structure or stuff like that. And while you can do that in Alpha Strike, they needed a little bit more granularity. All right. But no, that's going to be a great rulebook. And I feel like you're going to start seeing a lot of people carrying that around for stuff.
Especially if it's the thin books that are foldable, you can stick those in your Felder case, right? They fit in there when you want to stick them underneath your foam trays. So you can just pack it in with your minis and hit the shop.
Yeah. Yeah, because this has some, I don't want to say formulas, but it's got the cheat sheet for how you do your homework that comes with the campaign.
Key. That's key.
We've got our 8 mechs.
Ooh.
This is, I mean, I don't want to say this is why we buy these things, but it's kind of why we buy these things. All right, we got the Devastator. Big, thick boy. Gauss rifles. I wasn't expecting to love the model as much as I did, but it is crisp, it is clean, it is great. We've got the Ostal. I still don't know if I'm sold on it. It's one of the Ost mechs, which I love. But the Ostal, I don't know. I mean, I should say, model-wise, flawless. All the models in this are great. But I mean, an Ostal is 2 large lasers, 4 medium lasers. Like, I'm like, that's a mini Black Knight. That's a 60-ton Black Knight. What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Being better.
Being the mercenary Black Knight. We all can't be Free Worlds League, Comstar, or Word of Flake. We've got the Caesar. That's the Davian Cataphract at home.
I know a lot of people that are excited for the Caesar, though. I got one guy locally who's waiting on this box so he can paint it up.
It is very good. It even has the antenna, like 12 out of 10. The models, like I said, every model in this is great. The Star Slayer, the Crab 2.0.
I'm excited. I want my Star Slayer. It's not a real crab, but it's kind of a crab.
The extra definition you have on all the guns in these is just phenomenal. Like all of these look like an entire generation removed from things we got in a game of Armor Combat. Just detail-wise.
Have they done something to the molds? I mean, it sounds like they've really stepped up their game. Do you know if they've done something or just new sculpting techniques or?
I can't say that they've gotten like better sculpts or better molds, but there's probably like more effort being put into all of the levels of the process now. Like the model line is now established. Now we have to do better at every step. We cannot go back. We've got the quick draw, which I talked about before. This is probably the one that I had the most worries about. It's got the most molding on the shoulders, like flashing. Like you can definitely tell like they clipped it off the sprue and it's not a hidden spot. So that's the one that you're probably going to see most people want to take a hobby knife to. Just to clean it up.
Those cool antennas.
The antennas are great. Still got some sprue cut marks.
Such a goofy looking mech. I love it.
The chameleon or chameleon. Chameleon?
Are you trying to give me a stroke?
Maybe. Chameleon looks great. It's got a big old laser. It's ready to party. Then we get down to the lights, and this is where you lost me on one. You won me back on the second. So the Firefly, I mean, he's just a little guy. He's just a little guy running around on two legs. Yeah, he doesn't have any arms. He's just got a missile pod and some little lasers. So, but he's got little fins. I mean,
it's an adorable looking
locust with wings.
Adorable.
This is when I was like, no. I was worried. Why are they putting a flea, one of the worst light mechs, in? And then I got this in my hand, and I looked at it. I was like, everyone needs 5 of these. The locust sculpt compared to this one, like I said, whole different generation.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the locust sculpt.
I mean,
all right. That's a pretty good looking mech.
Yeah. Like you've got the gun pods and then the like torso chin mount, but like the leg detail at that scale, like the little antenna, like we could not have gotten this in the first wave. So it's almost like saving it for the second. So,
well, good. Comes with some tanks too, doesn't it?
It does. It comes with 2 Maxims and 2 Galleon transports. So
those are pretty good. Those are good tanks to throw in the mercenary box set. I'm pleased with those selections.
If you needed the most generic people movers, those are the 2.
People can get a lot of value out of that. But I think it's also a smart move by CGL because I like Maxims and I like Galleons. And if I need those, I got to buy an $80 box to get more.
Now, some people may not know this. The turrets on both of these, they move.
Oh, yeah. Are they ball and socket or are they peg?
From what I can tell, is the Galleon is ball and socket because I cannot remove it. I probably could
pull
if I
really hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You should pull really hard and tell me before I do it to my own.
Same with the Maxim. Like all of these appear to be ball and socket. I will say that not every turret that can be rotated is ball and socket. Like some are just peg. Like the mobile HQ, that is just peg. Okay. But things like LRM carriers, tanks, turrets, all that, ball and socket.
Now you've got those now. Are they easy to swap out, or am I gonna like break something up?
Here's the sad part. Like I tried to do like a LRM carrier onto a tank body swap. They're not
universal.
Not universal.
That's a bummer.
It was a bummer. I was like, ooh, Franken vehicles. And it's like, nope. This one, LRM carriers and SRM carriers, swappable, yes. Manticores and LRM carriers, no. And the dead's down. Like, it's just like, okay, all these are a different size turret. And I understand that. It's just, at that point, it's like,
be a lot cooler if you could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're put in with,
okay.
They've got some like lubricant oil so they don't bind or do anything to let them spin without like cracking. So
sure. Well, we'll see how we do painting it up.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to get the Q-tips out just to clean that out. Like I don't trust it on paint.
No, I'm just gonna paint right over it and freeze it in place.
All right, so I did mention this. You've got 50 battlefield support cards. You've got 25 of each. So it's 2 copies. You've got 3 types of turrets. You've got different types of infantry. Like I'm talking machine gun nest, jump infantry, battle armor, elementals, motorized foot, it's almost just worth it for the infantry.
Wow.
You've got the transports, you've got the vehicles. Like the box set does not come with the warrior VTOL. It comes with the battlefield support card for a VTOL if you wanted to run it. Like that's great.
Now these battlefield support cards are the ones that we have seen teased before, right? The card that has like an infantry on it with a target number to shoot down and everything else, right? Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking the same thing. And the rulebook, of course, has all the rules because a lot of these have like special abilities. These look like Alva Strike cards. Like you see range instead of short, medium, long. Like I'm looking at the turret one. Range 369. Okay, that's pretty standard range. You've got two different skills. So if you want the high skill or the low skill, and it has different cost for either of those, how much damage it does, how much movement points, what TMM it gets if it moves, and then it's got its check number for once you do the damage, you roll to see if you destroyed it. And then, like I said, you've got specials like the turrets have immobile, so they're -4 to hit. So they have all the information you would need on a record sheet already done.
I'm pretty excited for those. I know Denham was also excited. I'll be curious to see what he says when he gets his box. I'm sure he'll have lots to say.
Yeah, I was definitely like, I don't know. I'm liking record sheets now, but the fact that they did so many non-standard things, like I said, there's like 10 of these that I would never put on a record sheet, like an infantry squad. Like, I'll just do the infantry squad as a battlefield support card. It doesn't need a whole record sheet for when it's only going to take up a 10th of the page anyways. Included in that, you've got the Rebalance Battlefield Support Point deck. Now, this was something we had at Motor City, and like we had the cost for like light strikes, heavy strikes, strafing runs, artillery, long toms, all that.
Yep.
All the costs are fixed. So
good.
The BSP's cost is now balanced between the battlefield support card cost, and it's now relatable to BV. So you can take less BV in a list and take more battlefield support points and assets.
I think that's something a lot of people have been waiting for a long time.
Yeah. It's like, I want to integrate this in the way you are balancing your games. Please balance these new things to integrate into the thing I already have. So, yeah, it's great. And there's everything in there. The costs are fixed, and it includes heavy strike. So this is the new latest edition of it. And I think that we're going to stay with it for now.
It's only taken like 2 years to get the heavy strike corrected, but
2 years, that it?
Made.
I want to say
I think so.
Yeah. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
I want to say that was first Kickstarter, maybe. Clan Invasion, at least. I don't even know anymore, man. I don't want to know. What else? We've got the Alpha Strike cards, because if Master Unilist ever goes down, boy,
we'd be lost.
We'd be lost. So they have to give us cards.
It's a good backup to have. I mean, I know after some of the adjustments, some of the cards don't quite work out the way they used to. But if you needed to play a game, you could make it work. So that's good to have. And I assume we get record sheets for the mechs as well. We get record sheets for the mechs in the box set. We do not get record sheets for the vehicles. Instead, we get the battlefield asset cards, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. That's how they're pushing it for an easy mercenary chaos campaign. If you want to add vehicles in, you just add them, and they don't need their whole sheet. They don't need their whole, like, oh, you blew off their track rules. It's like, no, they're there until they get destroyed, and that's it. Fair. But it's simpler to do. Yeah. I will say the record sheets are Civil War era, and then they've got some new Ill Clan era ones. So everyone's got I want to say old variant, but when you've got Gauss rifles and medium pulse lasers, like, you're not an old variant. That's kind of new already. Yeah. That's neat. That's nice to see some new stuff getting kicked in there too. Yeah. And I presume we're getting all the pilot cards like we do with all the other Alpha Strike cards. Yeah, so all the mechs have a pilot card, front and back. I will say I was not expecting the mercenary campaign to actually call on those. So it wants you to use the pilot cards, and if not associated with each mech, it
I want to say it does let you pick, like, use the special pilot ability from one of the pilot cards in the bot. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, okay, I won't throw these out.
Yeah, I might as well hang on to them for a bit. I know normally in box sets we get maps. What kind of maps are included in this box?
We get some of the best maps we've seen in a while, man. We get Lake Area, which is a giant lake in the middle, and we get River Valley. So we got a majority water map. I'd say 50% of it was water, and a giant river in the middle. So, like, if you wanted to do a hold the line, don't let them cross the river map game,
or like a naval battle,
or a naval battle, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm. And then you flip those over, and you got some of the best maps I've seen in a while, like art-wise. Scattered Woods, and then just generic woodland. Scattered Woods one is what I fought with that Kraken trying to get across the water and caught in woods. And I was like, I hate this map for this mech, but man, is this a good looking map to be stuck on.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. I've been slowly gathering and organizing all of my map sheets. Now that I'm playing a lot more classic than I used to, it's cool to get new classic maps.
You also have these aren't maps in the sense of like maps to play on, but it does come with the map 3058 and map 3151. So you get to see the inner sphere.
Like the poster wall,
like a
wall poster map,
wall posters,
cool. Yeah, star chart, great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have enough room on my wall for one of those, but it's kind of neat to look at. It doesn't have to be that big, but I also understand it's like, oh, you can play a mercenary campaign and then pick things on the map. So it's one of those like dual use.
That's cool. That's cool.
Now, you would have thought all those would be my favorite things in this, right?
I mean, you seem pretty excited about those maps, Josh.
Those maps were really, really good. Denim decided to point out, hey, you do realize that's just an old map they repainted. And I was like, oh no. And then he showed it to me. I was like, oh God, get it away from me. Like the flea had a glow up. The maps had a glow up too.
Excellent. Is that everything for the box? There's quite a lot in there.
So we've talked a lot about the cardboard punch outs before. This one, all those battlefield support assets, like the infantry.
You get punch outs too?
You get infantry punch outs. Yeah, I've got elementals. I've got jump infantry, inner sphere battle armor. I got medium turret emplacements, heavy, light. I got parts cache. I got field hospitals. I've got ammo containers. I got flatbed trucks. And then all those battlefield support assets, like I didn't buy the warrior pack. Oh no, how will I use a warrior? Well, they just made it a punch out, so I can quickly add it to my mercenary campaign. And if it dies, I don't have to worry about painting a model and then it dying. And like, oh no, that wasn't fun. I want to use it again. It's like, no. This is great because these are quickly added assets. I do love, this is the best part, like I said, those ammo things, field hospitals and whatnot. Congratulations. They finally put objectives for games here.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we've been missing for a while now.
Yeah, no, it really is. Like, give me things to fight over. And that's the box set. That's the punch outs. Like, that is what it's there for.
And again, yeah, I think there's a lot of thought and effort put into like designing this because you're going to end up with a couple of cardboard tokens you can throw in the bottom of a box or throw into a cell that you would normally put other mechs in or put them in with other mechs, and it's not going to take up a ton of space. No. So that's great.
And it comes with two of those. So it's like almost...
two sheets of punch outs.
2 sheets of punch out. It's like almost 50 or more punch outs.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I wish I had my box so I could look at all this cool stuff.
I wish you did. Boy, Billy, why does your mom let you have 2 hot dogs?
Oh, that's got to be it. That's in the box. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff in here. There can't be more.
But wait, there's more. This is when we get to the fun stuff. You get a battlefield support strike reference table. So that is all of the stats on those cards. Like if you don't want to take the cards, that's fine. They've printed all the information onto the heavy card stock, like the same one that our movement cluster table card stock is.
Oh, nice.
They've got that. We have a reference table for all of the battlefield support strikes and assets. So you don't know what a light strafing run, or it's not a light strafing run. That'd be a lot cooler if it was. You don't know what a strafing run costs or does or what to do. It's on a chart. You flip it over. Oh, what does the Demolisher tank do? It's on the chart.
If it's Battletech, they know we love charts, right? Without charts, we would be lost.
That's true. And the last thing, which I'm going to say, this is what I want more of in my box sets for Battletech. Like, I want easy tools to help us drive our own narrative. These are 2 dry erase cardstock contract of mercenary employment sheets. This is like if the game is meant to be 50% giant robot and 50% tax forms. They finally printed off and included the forms for us to do it.
Fantastic.
I can write down my name, my base pay, my salvage, transportation, length in months, command, war chest points, and then it's literally like, some people like Excel. We know who you are. I'm not saying your name on this podcast because I said it on the last one, but you know who you are. But this is essentially, hey, you want to do Excel, but by hand, like a real mercenary person with only 3 C-bells to their name has? Yeah. And then it has the common cost and pay. On the other side, it's got, write down your units and their formations and their SP. It's like, yeah, thank you. Thank you for printing out my tax form for me. Because if you want me to do the taxes in the mercenary rulebook, you got to print off the forms.
That sounds like an awesome box. I can't wait to get my hands on it.
I can't wait for you too, Steve. Yeah. Sorry. But hey, we should all be getting there soon. Hopefully this year.
Hopefully this year.
Yeah.
I just had a disaster happen in the hobby front. I broke the screen on my 3D printer.
Oh no.
Yeah, the LCD broke. And I ordered a replacement one that night, right? Just to try to cut down on lead time and everything else. And then 2 days later on the Monday, I got the shipping notification. I was like, oh, a FedEx shipping notification. Could it be?
Oh, no.
Congratulations, I played myself. No, it was not my Kickstarter shipping notification. But it is a replacement screen for my 3D printer that will get repaired hopefully soon.
I hope so too. Then you can print out all the fun things to run your Mercenaries campaign.
Yeah, and I can print out all the record sheets on my new printer.
Oh my gosh. The real printer.
Well, no, this is exciting stuff. And honestly, I really have looked at what the retail price is going to be because I got mine through the Kickstarter, but I have to assume it's going to be somewhere in that $60 to $80 range, just like the Alpha Strike box and the Game of Armor Combat box. So, for that price with what you're getting, I can't say that I'd be disappointed to go buy this normal retail. I mean, it looks like there's a ton of great stuff in here. Looks
like retail is $75, and then of course, depending on where you're getting it from, you get a little bit of discount. So, yeah, it was probably like $60 to us through the Kickstarter. So
that's not bad.
No, for 8 mechs and all of that. Yeah,
I can see people buying this box just for extra support cards and those punch outs. Honestly, hot commodity. Yeah,
because those support cards were like $15 just alone, and now they're included in a box set.
Yeah, that's value. That's real value.
Yeah. See, I know Fortress Miniatures and Games will be a great place to pick up the box set and then pick up any of the other Mercenary Force or Star packs that I may have not wanted to add onto the Kickstarter at the time until I could wait for retail. And once they get there, I know I will be loading my shopping cart up because they already applied the discount. Anything else in the box set that you're like most excited about, Steve?
Well, I mean, the fact that I don't have it yet. No, I'm looking forward to the Star Slayer myself. If we're looking at plastic, I'm also really excited about those Maxims. I enjoy using battlefield support and BSPs. So to see those corrected and fixed will be pretty cool. And I'm always game for more maps. So those are probably the top things I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm definitely most excited about doing the Mercenary Chaos campaign part of this. Like, it seems like they finally, I don't want to say they finally got it right because they've had it right. It's just they've given me all the tools to do it without having to look at multiple books.
Yeah. And that's something that Battletech has suffered from for a while now, is that rules are scattered across 6 rule books. And we talk about that all the time. But to have everything condensed in one little nice box, I think is great. I think you're going to see a lot more traction with that.
All right. Anything else?
I think that does it. If you want to get more of that Mechbay goodness, feel free to look us up on Instagram, Facebook, or you can hit us up on the Discord and join the conversation. Send all your hate mail to the Mechbay Podcast at gmail.com. And remember, Star Slayers are not crabs because they don't have claws.